have a similar story with my parents. So, my parents came here from Poland in their 20s, didn't know a lick of English, came here with a t-shirt and 5 spoons. No joke. That's literally what they told me.
Essentials.
The essentials, right? 6 spoons, right?
And I'm aware that not other people are so fortunate. And it would be a shame for me not to do big things. And it's not about the money. It's not about, the clout that comes being a doctor. If it were easy, everybody would do it. And I'm telling you, it's not easy right now.
This week, there was jokes about what a hot Cheeto girl is.
Oh, God.
Can you guys give me your personal definitions of what a hot Cheeto girl is, LOL, and what she is?
LOL.
Emily.
No. It's funny because I thought about this answer all week. So, obviously everyone knows there's a stereotype with the hot Cheeto girl, especially like in high school, like 2015, 2014, like
something like that.
It's the girl with the long acrylics,
Elkhart City, a city with a heart. Elkhart City, a city with a heart. Hey, you, let's do an interview about everything you went through from your life, from your mind. Rewind to the past of the time. Guy named Felix, last name Salvador. Straight from the city of Elkhart, a city with the heart. I be the one MC who's only 20, coming to kill a beat so clean and near. So what?
Alrighty, we are back on FELIX'S podcast. Today I have the privilege to have 2 coworkers with me. We have
Emily.
And we have
Lonnie.
I appreciate you guys taking the time today for coming on my podcast. So let's get started with getting to know you guys. Can you tell me a bit of who you are, what you do for a living, and what you're most passionate about? And we can start with Emily.
Oh gosh, hey guys, nice to meet you. My name's Emily. I am a nuclear pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for about 3 years now, and I work at a radiopharmaceutical manufacturing company, and so essentially we make radioactive drugs for cancer. And part of my role is I help manage a team of about 10 people. I wear a lot of different hats in my role. I do some teaching on the side with the Purdue College of Pharmacy, and we just make it happen. We make radioactive drugs.
I don't think I can top that.
No, yes you can.
What were the questions?
Who you are, what you do for a living, and what you're most passionate about.
Well, again, my name's Lonnie. Thanks, Felix, for having me. I didn't think I'd get this far in life to be on the podcast.
She's like, I made it. I can die now.
I can die now. I was, as of today, this is my last day at Spectron, right? As a radiopharmaceutical manufacturer, Emily's technically my boss. Well, not anymore, so I can say whatever I want, right? I was basically doing most of the producing work, dealing with radioactivity and whatnot. Great experience. Really enjoyed working with the people. Love them all to death. Would recommend getting to those people if you know them by chance, but I won't list them off right now, but they're great people. And what I'm most passionate about? I am passionate about making an impact, especially in a medical environment. Healthcare has always been something I've floated towards too, and just being able to be in a role that makes the greatest impact.
Not the dog.
Same. And that too. Yeah, Mishka.
So Emily, you are a nuclear pharmacist. Can I get you to make me a nuclear bomb?
Why not?
Girl, what?
Actually,
is that how that works?
Have you seen
Let me do some reading on that and let you figure that out.
Get a program going?
Yeah, I do on the side, when I'm off the clock, right?
That DA won't watch this.
Wait, hold on. I want to circle back. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I completely forgot to mention what I'm passionate about. It's
Coffee.
Yeah, literally. No, in all seriousness, I'm really passionate about making a difference in people's lives. So I'll talk about this presumably later on the podcast, but I did lose my mom to cancer a few years back, and so I'm really passionate about finding a cure for cancer, and I feel like our line of work of where we work is really the magic bullet to solve the issue. And so I think that is what I'm most passionate about, is just paying it forward so people don't have to suffer like my mom did, unfortunately. And it's really crazy to think about because I got an email about a year and a half ago from a coworker at a different site, and we essentially sent out their first therapeutic dose for the exact same type of cancer that my mom had. So it's rewarding to be a part of a group that's literally making treatments for the type of cancer my mom didn't have available to her. And another thing I'm really passionate about too is just paying it forward. I feel like a lot of people in the pharmacy profession or medical profession like to gatekeep information. And in general in corporate, I feel like a lot of people gatekeep because they're insecure in their own role. And I don't want to be that person. I want to break the chain because at the end of the day, you're going to be my colleague in the next few years, right? So, like, why would I not give you the tools to succeed? It just shows my own insecurities if I do. So I'm really passionate about paying it forward, not only towards patients, but also other human beings because I don't see them as a threat. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Period. Wow. Period, sis.
I'm really sorry for your loss, Emily. And it's great to see you doing what you wish would have been available at the time for your own personal situation. If you weren't working in what you are working now, what do you think you'd be doing, or what would your vocation be on a daily?
It's funny you say that. So there's two answers. I have a fun one and a serious one. I would say the fun one is a makeup artist or something, or an influencer of some kind. I find myself like recording stupid little videos to send on Snapchat to my friends of like the makeups. Yeah, literally Lottie. Like, hey guys, how you doing? My name's Emily. I love makeup and stuff like that. So I would say some sort of an influencer. I mean,
period.
Yeah, but the true answer, professional answer, I guess it would be a radiation oncologist, right? Or some sort of medical doctor in oncology, or a teacher. To teach people. And I love talking to students. I actually was just on a call yesterday with like a pre-professional student, and I was on an hour talking her ear off, and I just, like I said before in my previous answer, I just love giving that information to help others succeed. So
mencionaste que te gustaría ser una maestra. ¿Qué tema te gustaría enseñar a estudiantes? Like, what subject would you enjoy?
C. Just kidding.
That's a hard one. I think it's just
Wait, can you respond in Spanish?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, so that's another thing about me, I guess, is I'm as white as sour cream, or really white.
Mayonnaise.
And I know a little bit of Spanish. I took Spanish for about 7 to 8 years, so these guys can't talk shit about me at work.
Damn.
Sorry if that's too...
She's like, yo sé lo que están diciendo.
Literally.
Yo sabo.
I hear everything. But yeah, I'm literally a no sabo kid.
Five members. Con los pales del laberinto.
I can't talk like these guys, but... Honestly, my favorite topic, or it would probably be development of some sort, or like coaching. Okay. Just like life things, because there's more to outside than just work.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hog the mic. Lonnie, your turn to talk.
Wait.
So, Lonnie, up next,
yes.
Future doctora as well.
Yes, queen.
If you weren't working in what you are doing now, or if you weren't heading towards the career you are heading, what do you think your ideal life or vacation would be?
In a perfect world, I think I would have followed my childhood dream of being an artist. I've always had a fond for drawing as a kid, trying to draw realistically. Through high school, I attempted, and I think somehow succeeded towards the end of my high school career. But that idea sort of died when I realized that you are your own worst critiquer? Is that the word? I can't speak. So as much as I loved doing it, going through the process, getting graded for it, I did not see a happy future in it. Especially how to pursue that kind of career and live off it, especially nowadays. You have to be kind of dead to be famous. Like Van Gogh, for example.
Be appreciated, right?
Yeah, like Van Gogh's like, what do you say? Something along the lines of, maybe I painted for people who are not even born yet. So I'd rather not live with that kind of mentality throughout my whole artistic career. But 2 years ago, I decided to start a little Etsy shop where I make like scientific related stickers to start, because I was just surrounded by science by then, and that's the only thing I knew. And I thought stuff that could use some more cutesy vibes, because my vibe is kind of cutesy. And one day I would like to expand on that to the point where I think it'd be great to own my own stationery line, which is more of a business kind of aspect. But as of now, I'm happy with what I have as a side hustle. I like creating. I love using my hands to create, learning how to refine a process, which is probably why I've always been in manufacturing on the science side. But that's what I'd be doing if I didn't want to pursue medicine and put myself through the ringer through the medical competition that's out there.
What's your handle?
Honestly, I don't even know what my handle is. But
So some of the stuff that you're making right now, I know the other day I think I was showing Ricky and he was like, wait, was it like, what are some of the images or artistic objects that you make? Yeah.
Well, the first very popular ones on my shop are these 3 Eppendorf tubes that have like little cute faces on them, and they're pastel-y colors. My vibe is pastels. I love pastels. Don't know why. I just think I didn't have time to be a child growing up, so that's why I float towards the pastel vibe. Another one that's very popular is a neuron, which is a brain cell for those who don't science like that. Brain cell, because I think mainly because throughout my whole life, when I took a lot of science classes in high school, I just remember every year always drawing a brain cell, and I thought it'd be fun to draw it, but I used more of my brain. Because, a brain cell, sends off action potentials to send a message to the next surrounding neuron. And throughout the body of the neuron, it sends that message. And I drew this neuron sending an action potential. But at the end of the day, it's sending a little love letter. So you kind of in that way, just understanding the sciences and being able to conceptualize into something cute is what always attracted me, and I think it's something that others would appreciate. So stuff like that, and other random things. I'm trying to move off from the science, because I've always liked like the kawaii kind of things, like from like Japan-esque vibes. Okay. Always appreciated those. So, for example, I've been inspired by one of my many thousands of plushies I own to make it into like a pin. Having the money and funds to buy a laser cutter and being able to sit down and design and just work on stuff that really, really makes me happy, where I'm the one in charge, I'm the one behind the ideas, I'm the one in control. Just why I want to be a doctor, I think, deep down inside. It's I don't know, rewarding, and sharing your creations with others is what makes me like content in life. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, yeah, that's great.
I went on 50. I'm yapping.
Can you share with us where these listeners can find you, your website or your name, your business's name?
My business name? Well, I need to look it up. So,
Okay.
So my Etsy handle, it's Studio Lani, but with 2 I's at the end. So Studio Lanii, Studio Lani, and yeah, check it out. You don't have to though.
She also personalizes stickers. So at work, she literally personalized a coworker as a sticker, and it's all around the office. It's so freaking funny. And she actually made me a sticker too of my favorite artist, Tito Doble P. So I have him all around my apartment now.
Wow! Wait, you enjoy him?
Yeah, she loves
¿Cuál
him.
es tu favorita canción?
Oh gosh,
Linda?
I would say Linda. Hold on, I don't want to.
Mine is Tattoo y Rosones. Probably the
I was
popular
gonna say
ones.
Rosones too.
Your dog eating the couch, dog.
No, right?
Stop! You're not supposed to do that.
Que me ahí pinche candle.
You're gonna die.
You see the burnt on the carpet?
Oh, this, bro. I know. You're gonna burn down.
I almost did.
Yo.
Anywho.
Right?
What about Doble P? Peso Pluma?
Apaga la Luz is my favorite.
I don't really.
I
just know Lady Gaga.
Wait, I'm interested. I'm interested to see what you guys enjoy or what you like, Emily. Let me make a list of what songs you like, because I don't listen to them like that. So
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we actually, Lonnie and I have a playlist on Spotify that we like mixed our music
For Sueños.
okay.
For Sueños, yeah, because we both went to Sueños.
I had like 3 hours of it. Music on
you
that.
had like 3 hours. You
Yeah,
contributed
no,
3
like
hours.
literally like.
How long is it?
It's like probably a whole day. How many hours does it say on it? 8 hours? A
Yeah.
whole work day?
So okay, one of you is entering medical school, Lonnie, and one of you has completed their doctorate, Emily. You've gone through pharmacy school. What are some tips, advice you could give to Lonnie and other aspiring pharmacists and or doctors?
Honestly, this is my favorite question, is lead your own path and don't follow the crowd. It's really hard to start following the crowd inside school. So to put it in perspective, when I was in pharmacy school, everyone said to do a residency. I know that's the traditional route for medical doctors, but for pharmacists it doesn't have to be residency. There's other paths like nuclear pharmacy or community pharmacy, like a Walgreens, CVS, or like a clinic of some sort. So it's very much so pushed down our throats, like, hey, you need to do a residency to be a successful pharmacist and stuff. And everyone really wanted to do residency. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not for everyone, And so it was actually challenging for me, because I'm like, crap, am I like the odd one out, because I want to do a different path of pharmacy. And I'm very grateful that I went my own way, even though it was very challenging and difficult and scary, because I was one of like 5 or 6 people in my graduating class to go that route.
Okay.
So obviously it was easier to go through residency because you're going with the crowd. So even if something's non-traditional and you feel scared to do it, just do it. That's my biggest advice to people in medical school. I know that's a little bit different, with the traditional path, but I would say that be yourself. Trying to think. Don't go into a mindset of competitiveness. I feel like pharmacy school and medical school, it's all about competition, who's going to be the best doctor, who's going to have the best grades. At the end of the day, if you're I can't speak to medical school, but like in pharmacy school, like you get straight A's and another person gets C's, you're getting the same degree, but who really got the best education and value out of it? Probably the C+ student, because maybe they didn't make the right decisions, or like not the perfect grades because they didn't understand a topic. They failed. They were able to learn from their mistakes. So I would say don't be afraid of failure as well when you're in school, because this is the only time in your career that you're allowed to make mistakes without any serious consequences on your licensure, right? So that's the biggest thing that I kind of hit home with me, especially in my last year, is like making those mistakes and learning from those. So follow your own path and be okay to make mistakes and not be always a straight A student is my biggest advice.
So use it as learning and don't follow the crowd, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Well, kind of hard to follow the crowd
It
to
is
begin with.
it is challenging, and like you just got to make your own path, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's going to make you happy, right? So.
And what you want.
Yeah, I want a lot of things.
What about you, Lonnie? What can you tell aspiring medical students and La Raza, maybe like, because a lot of us are first generation, college students. A lot of us are doing it for the first time. So yeah, what words of wisdom or motivation could you give to some of aspiring students?
Well, not that far into my career yet, but it's probably going to be like a Cliff Notes version of what you said. As much as you'd want to follow what a lot of people do, you're going to beat yourself up for it, and you really shouldn't. For me, it was really difficult to accept that, man, I'm going to take a gap year after my 4 year because I'm really burnt out. I worked throughout my college career, especially during the pandemic. I was a CNA throughout that whole ordeal, starting in the nursing home, ending up in the hospital, and then picking up a second job as a pharmacy tech, which gave me great experiences and great memories that put me above, I think, personally, other applicants. Some were very, not some were very, but you just can't really compare your journey to others, and you may feel as if you're not doing enough when in fact you're literally killing yourself trying to do all these things. And sometimes school does see you as a number, and that's all you can focus on. You become so neurotic about every aspect of your life, even personality, and even like start doubting yourself. Like, oh, can I do this? Can I not do this? Which is what I had going into like my third gap year. Is that what you call it? Yeah, my third gap year. So my advice would be, like, if you still want it, get it. If you still feel the drive in you, even after, like, for me, like 1, 2, 3 years, and you still want to pursue those goals to salir adelante, que si se puede, it can't happen. It might not be a linear journey. There will be ups and downs. And even at your lowest lows, especially for me, I still saw, that light at the end of the tunnel, as cliche as that sounds, to pursue my dreams. Because I feel like we've all been there in any kind of dream that we want to pursue. And just find your values, find where you want to be in life, and being willing to face the challenges that come with these big dreams. Because for some of us, especially mi gente Latino, like, not everything has been easy for us, especially in these times like today, as we've seen, I'm assuming all of us across platforms. Mm-hmm. So it's just echándole ganas and being able to believe in yourself and finding your support system. And in my support system was always con mi propia gente. In any environment, at the hospital, at the pharmacy, even at my not current job, the ones that gave me the most love and support, affection, besides Emily, even though she's an honorary Hispanic in my eyes. Honorary. Right? They'd always be like, si se puede, échale ganas. And even to the bilingual, I'm bilingual, by the way, if you couldn't tell, but all the only Spanish-speaking patients that I've but had the pleasure of working with, and even with my family, it's always been them that had my back, even if they were strangers, even if we were from different Latin countries. They were always the most supportive and most endearing to remember. And it's because of them, for the most part, especially today, I want to be able to give back to that community that had my back for so long. So, yeah.
That's great. The way you were...
the question.
No, yeah, that's great. You expressed how, although they're big goals, you have big goals, they're scary. It reminds me of a quote. It says, if your dreams aren't big enough... No, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
And they scare me. They scare me.
They scare you.
They scare my wallet.
Big facts on that.
And so you mentioned that you worked through college. Like, how many hours did you work?
I think I was pushing 30 hours a week.
A week?
Yeah. And the beginning years of the pandemic were the toughest. But, and that's when I was working at the nursing home. And what kept me going, I would like, even though I might say some pessimistic things to my friends, I would like to think I'm very optimistic. Especially
deep down.
I'm very, wait a second. Deep down in my gut, I'm very optimistic, But during those times, seeing people being isolated, especially those who are towards the end of their life, just having to escort them downstairs to a window and having to communicate with their family members through phone, and just seeing them like so isolated, and I having the pleasure to go home and be with my family, it really put a perspective on, the human condition and how we are meant to be there for one another. Right.
Community, yeah.
Community is really important, and it was mentally draining on me, not just physically, it was physical. Being an aide is a lot of work, and kudos to all those who are CNAs or have been a caregiver at any kind of paid or unpaid. Sorry, I didn't hit you. It's tough work, and it really gave me a good exposure onto being a caregiver in that aspect. And it was these people that I saw every day, got to know them as individuals, not just as a patient with a first and last name or these A-list conditions or B-list conditions, but they were individuals that lived lives, and not just in the nursing home, but in the hospital. But if I wasn't there, who else was going to be there? You know, people were counting on me, and I like to be held accountable and depended on for those who expect me, you know, to give my everything, especially in the world of healthcare. It's literally in the name. We're caring for those in their current health conditions. So I've always looked back to those days and see how far I've come, not only like professionally, but as an individual, being able to respect life for what it is and be able to respect other people's lives and perspectives as well.
I think the one thing I want to comment on, and it really spoke to me, is like the sense of community, because community really does help with someone's healing if they're sick, you know, whether it's terminally ill or just like a, you know, pneumonia or something. And I could speak from my experience with my mom. It's like, I knew what was going to happen, right? Like, I literally learned it in school. I understood the life expectancy of my mom's cancer and stuff. And you just got to show up. You got to show up and give that little glimpse of hope, because if a person, I truly believe it's not just Western medicine that helps, but it's also like Eastern medicine, so like mind, body, spirit. So I feel like having a positive energy, especially surrounding yourselves with positive energy within your family and even your healthcare professionals, really makes the person keep going and not give up to their disease. In my mom's case, like cancer, right? And I noticed that, you know, she knew what was going to happen, but she still kept going to treatment. She still kept going to chemo. So having that mindset going into medical school is going to be very important, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the person that's going to deal with a lot of crappy and unhappy people. So how are you going to find light in that? How are you going to find positivity? And it sounds like you have a good head on your shoulder, because you're going to be the one to say, like, this is our next plan of approach. And going back to what you guys said about, you know, the racion, like the people of you, like, you guys are the hardest workers out there, 100%. Like, you guys work your asses off, you know, whether in anything you guys do. And that's what I always appreciate about you guys and my kind, Polish people. Gotta put a plug out there.
Yes,
Polish.
Viva Polish.
Viva Polish. In the sense of, like, immigrants are very hard workers. You know, they're gonna show up on the job, whether it's a good day or a bad day and stuff like that, and just make it happen. You know, and I feel like we need a lot of people like that in the world, especially in like hard times like these with what's going on. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of rambling at this point.
We're yapping now.
We really yapping.
Immigrants make America great. Yeah.
Hell yeah, they really are.
From all around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see where you're going and how much growth you've experienced within yourself, even in the last year that I've known you. I'm super proud of that. Just don't cry.
I'm
She said, just don't cry. She's like, I know what I said was very deep, but just don't cry.
You're not allowed to cry right now.
Okay. You're not allowed to cry.
Okay, that's good.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
All right, what's next, Felix?
Yeah, Lonnie and Emily, you both are incredible people with incredible capabilities. What you're working in and what you're wanting to work in within the medical fields are not easy, obviously. Can you tell me who or what inspired you both to pursue your respective careers?
Am I going or you going?
You go.
Well, who's inspiring me to go?
Who or what? Yeah.
Who or what? I think I'm very fortunate enough to have had many life experiences and people that have pointed me in this direction. I don't want to, yap all day, but obviously, like I've already touched base on, but my community Latino, again, they're, especially amongst the Mexican community, because I am Mexican, I am that kind of Hispanic, we're very family oriented. Even when the family dynamic is kind of complicated, we are very grounded in our, familiarity with one another. Mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, great aunt, we're all about family. My mom and dad especially, they've immigrated, from Mexico a long time ago, and seeing how they were able to get to where they are now has really pushed me to pursue my dreams. And just being able to make them proud in something that I would be happy to do and give back to them, show them like, you didn't come here for no reason. I don't want to cry, but I'm crying. But I know how much they've worked to get here. And I'm aware that not other people are so fortunate. And it would be a shame for me not to do big things. And it's not about the money. It's not about, you know, the clout that comes being a doctor. If it were easy, everybody would do it. And I'm telling you, it's not easy right now. But I don't mean to cry this much. Oh my god. But I think my parents deserve the best, and to see that their work did not stop with them. They've influenced me to become the person I am, which I would like to think I'm likable in some sort of way. And being able to be a role model for other people, like not just Latinos, but Latinas. I know not a lot of us make the percentage of being holders of like doctorates, PhDs, and just being able to be an example of this kind of success, or this kind of, that it's possible. It doesn't stop when, you know, life throws a curveball at you. With my, I don't know, I hope not. But it's something I've always, like, I've been very conscious of where I come from. Never forgot who I was, where my parents come from. They had nothing, they gave me everything. And being mindful of that has always pushed me to pursue greater. So my mom and dad are the reason, of course, of who I am today. To be a role model, and to be able to be a voice for those who are afraid to speak for themselves. I've always been a supporter on the sidelines, but because of recent events, not only in, you know, our state, our country, but in the world, has pushed me to not stay silent anymore. I don't mean to be political, but there's things that are like policies that exist, laws that exist, that are barriers to, like, for the ones I seen as una mujer mexicana latina de hija de inmigrantes. I've seen what those policies have indirectly done or directly done nowadays, since it's been very obvious what the goal is here from the administration that's unfortunately running the country. To be a voice and an advocate for those who deserve equitable healthcare, equitable treatness, fairness, just in general, equalness. I think we're retrograding to back to our darker history in America. And because of these things, I feel more a sense of urgency. I don't know if I'm saying this right. A sense of something in me to be able to speak out, and I'm just tired of being like a silent supporter. I feel like pursuing this type of leadership role will help me better help those kind of people, and not just in a clinical setting, but patient by patient, individual by individual. I'm not just concentrating on like Latino community, but everyone who's been affected in any kind of way indirectly. And I know like someone's gonna get affected in a bad way, but if we acknowledge the fact that there's gonna be consequences to certain things, we can try to, you know, change for the better in a certain way. And I don't know what I'm trying to say right now, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. But just seeing what's going bad in the world and what's been already bad, trying to just be somewhat of a role model for others and an influence to others to make a bigger impact.
I think that our parents, some of their biggest legacies that they leave behind isn't business or money. It's like their children. And you thinking that way, you know, you thinking bigger, greater things, you know, that's their legacy they're leaving behind. You're their legacy. And for you to be pursuing what you are pursuing, that's great, you know, and that's going to make them so proud. and the fact that, you know, you mentioned the dark times that we are experiencing right now. It's now that we need light. It's now that we need voices, and you're one of those. And that's, you know, that's what you feel inside, and that's great. You know, that just goes to tell what person you are and what kind of soul you have.
Thanks.
So like, that's great. I wish you all the success and all the blessings, Lonnie.
Thank you.
Keep inspiring. And Emily?
I agree. I just want to talk about what Lonnie talked about, and you know, you're going to be very influential in breaking down the barriers in our healthcare system, because there's a lot, and we need someone who's going to be strong and powerful and advocate for those who maybe don't look like their current doctor right now and are intimidated to go to the doctor because of, you know, they don't look like them or they're just scary. You're a very approachable person, and I feel like you have a lot of passion, and I'm a true believer that you have to be passionate about what you do in life, because you're just going to do the job differently. You're going to give it your all, but also you're just going to have this natural sense of, I know exactly what to do for this patient or this situation, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be very exciting to see you in the next few years, and how medical school is going to influence you and shape you into an even stronger individual. So I'm really excited for that. And going back to the original question of what inspired you in your career, I don't want to bounce back, but I kind of have a similar story with my parents. So, you know, my parents came here from Poland in their 20s, didn't know a lick of English, came here with a t-shirt and 5 spoons. No joke. That's literally what they told me.
Essentials.
The essentials, right? 6 spoons, right? But real talk, though, right? They came here with nothing. They didn't know what to do, they just figured it out. And that's what I really appreciate about my experiences growing up, is they were figuring out for the first time as first gens here in America. It's scary, like how you guys alluded to, is there's so many barriers, whether it's language or cultural barriers. How do you figure it out? You just figure it out. Yeah. You know, my dad grew up, worked in a factory, 12-hour shifts, you know, every single day. He still works at the same place he worked at. And my mom started her own cleaning business, you know, not knowing a lick of English. She went to an Ivy Tech similar in Chicago, and she learned the language, you know, so she could be able to make a living on her own. And so just growing up and seeing that, it's just damn, I want to be able to, you know, essentially give back to people like my parents, immigrants who came here with literally nothing. So I wanted to make them proud that way. Mm-hmm. And kind of like how you said, leave a legacy for them, you know. And the biggest thing I'll take away from my childhood is you want to treat others how you want to be treated, you know, and I truly take that into my work as a pharmacist now, is I don't give a shit if you're the custodian or if, you know, if you're essentially my underling. We're all human. Mm-hmm. Just because I have the highest doctorate doesn't mean I'm the best, you know. And I feel like a lot of people with higher degrees like that forget that, but we're all human. We're all the same. We're the same, mm-hmm. you know. And that's the biggest thing, you know. I grew up is my parents are freaking awesome, you know. Just because they're not medical doctors or whatever doesn't mean they're not great. So my parents were a huge influence in, you know, my upbringing, and with my sister too, because my sister and I were the first ones to actually go to college in our whole family. And so that was challenging on its own, and you guys spoke to that too, figuring out FAFSA forms and financial aid and stuff like that. So it's a struggle, and it's just where do you go to help, you know? So yeah, mic drop. But yeah, it's really hard out there, especially for people who, you know, don't speak the language. Sometimes the resources are not there, and there needs to be people in the healthcare industry and all kind of industries to kind of help figure it out together and build a sense of community.
Mm-hmm. I think that within our talks, we're really painting a realistic picture of the difficulties. You know, like you mentioned, the filing of FAFSA, you know, who do we go to, or the real life questions we have. I think it helps people see that, like you said, although one may have a doctorate, it's not like they didn't struggle. It's not like they didn't go through it. It's not like they didn't have their hardships. And so even through that, you know, it's still possible, you know, to obtain success or to obtain your desired career. Alrighty. I think.
Sorry, I cried, chat. I didn't mean to just get that emotional.
All right, chat. I'm gonna go get some snacks, chat.
Chat, we're cooked.
I'll be right back, chat.
Oh my goodness.
Is this still on?
Yes. It's still on.
Hot Cheetos and Takis. No, not Takis.
Hot girl dinner. Girl dinner.
Girl,
Do
literally.
any of you need to use the restroom or anything?
No, I already cried it out.
Be right back. I want to dig into this, right?
Yeah.
ASMR.
Do you eat chile, Emily?
Of course.
Really?
I mean,
Really?
This is kind of my stuff.
I just have the pepino con tajin. I don't have the extra picante. That's crazy.
Oh, you don't?
I mean, she probably does, but I don't.
It's literally water. Yo, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Is horchata agua fresca?
Yes.
No.
Yes. It's a type
It's
of
rice
agua
water, right?
fresca.
It is rice water.
So
It's a type of agua fresca.
Well, when we go to this, if we were to go to Tres Mangos and we ask aguas frescas, would they mention?
They list
would they?
they list horchata.
Okay.
At salsas, but not at like Michoacana.
Yes, they
No?
have for
No,
me.
I don't know. I've never.
Michoacana.
I've been to other like
Wait, sorry that I
walls in
added
South
that.
Bend, and they list off horchata as an agua fresca.
I don't know. When I think like agua fresca, I think like fruits. But I understand that like it means like fresh water.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't say
it's like water
frutas
based.
frescas.
I don't know. That's just
agua.
like what I
Wait,
think
so
of.
so it's not
It is.
like technically. Oh, it is technically
is.
agua fresca.
Because I see
Google.
agua frescas and then underneath they list off horchata, agua de pepino, agua de sandia, blah 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 blue blue, you know?
La boo boo.
The boo boo.
Ricky has one.
They're so ugly. I'm sorry. I cannot.
Shout out to my guy Ricky. They're ugly.
Ricky. I'm sorry, but take that off your card.
Oh my god.
Put a
You're
BB
cool.
baby.
You put a sock on it so it can look like a thug.
No jodes.
Yeah. No.
Criminalize yourself that way. No jodes.
gosh.
Qué cosa.
Dijiste que you don't eat them.
No.
You should not.
She likes
I could leave
Cheetos.
it back there.
Do you care?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
literally gonna do that too.
No soy hispana like that, I guess.
Dang, look at Emily beating you, bro.
She crazy.
Crazy.
I don't think you know this about me.
She's white.
I was literally. I was part of a group in high school called NHI, National Hispanic Institute,
excuse
and
me.
I literally debated in Spanish.
She's from San Juan, didn't you know?
Yeah,
Son-
they literally told me to say that.
That
So I
you're
would
from
be
San Juan?
like, yeah, because
She was born there.
So, what are some topics that you debated?
a lot of mind you, this was like in 2014, so the world was different back then. But
So you
I
were,
think
like,
it's just
12?
the barriers that your people face in the U.S. But I don't remember exactly, but it was about your culture and the struggles that you guys deal with. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I did that for a little
All in
bit.
Spanish?
All in
And
Spanish.
so, like, you were studying Spanish in that time or recently? Yeah. So you were.
So I was a little bit struggling,
Oh.
but I made it through it. I made it pretty far. So I had a partner, so it wasn't just like me. It was cross-examining. So like I would say something and ask questions to the other person, and then my partner would like essentially cross-examine and follow up with questions. So I feel like I kind of had the easier role because I essentially had a script,
Okay.
but like obviously I'm not a native speaker, so that
Right,
was
right.
like
already a hardship.
already
hard, you know.
already challenging and whatnot. But I feel like working with you guys, I made my Spanish a little bit better. But anyways,
Yeah, it was. We were surprised when we learned that you knew Spanish, and to the extent that you knew it.
any reason why?
You're white. That's why.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
seriously.
yeah, it's just like, you know,
Straight up.
it's kind of rare when, well, it is rare, you know, when,
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously, there's probably more now that are bilingual, you know, like, especially with, with doctorates, you know,
Mhm.
like, they probably see the help
Mhm.
that it brings, you know, learning another language, but it's cool that you do, Alrighty, guys. What's one of the hardest experiences or moments that you've experienced that perhaps have shaped your life to this day? Grief, loss, mental health, etc. How did you get through it or overcome it?
Do you want me to go first? I don't mean to talk about my mom, guys, but clearly she's been very influential in my last few years as, you know, a young adult. But I don't think I've ever told you this, Lonnie and Felix. I don't know if I've ever even told you this, but in your 4th year of pharmacy school rotations, you're basically anywhere and everywhere for rotations. You're working 40 hours plus a week as a pharmacist, essentially, in training. So you're basically put anywhere. So I was on rotations full-time, working in hospitals, and at the same time I was caring for my mom, who was dying of cancer. And there was one instance that I remember so clearly, and I still have a lot of PTSD from it whenever I hear like ambulances, is I was working a night shift at a different nuclear pharmacy. You know, I was planning on coming home at a reasonable hour, like 8 a.m., but I actually decided to go to a work event, actually at our current employer. So I drove basically all the way to South Bend from Chicago, and I stayed there, you know, and I got back home basically at 9 p.m., and I will never forget this night because I noticed that my mom was not breathing right, and she was just off. You know, it wasn't, you know, she was tired from all the chemo and stuff like that, but something was just off, and my gut feeling was telling, like, you need to do something, check her vitals. And so I was checking her vitals, and, you know, my dad was like, you know, everything's fine, she's just, you know, on her pain meds, she's, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Well, it turns out she actually accidentally overdosed on her pain medications because they recently had switched over to a stronger strength. And so if I hadn't been there that night, she would have died. Because opioid, you know, you could overdose on opioid and die, you know. And so I remember that night when I had to make the decision myself, and it was hard for me because, like, what do I know? I'm still a kid. And she could have died that night if I wasn't there. So I remember still administering Narcan, which is an opioid reverser, essentially.
Okay.
And, you know, she threw up. I had to turn her to the side and had to call the ambulance and talk with the EMT people of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that night really made me realize, like, crap, there's really dark. It's not always going to be happy. It's not always going to be good. And you have to trust your gut. And I feel like I told myself I could really survive anything since I literally saved my mom from dang near death. But unfortunately, I do have PTSD from it. I don't know if you see me shaking. So I would say that's like a biggest thing that really shaped me to be able to pivot, problem solve, and like be able to save someone's life. And it was terrifying because it's like it's different when it's a patient you don't know as opposed to someone in your own family.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a big thing that influenced and changed my life. So sorry. Okay.
What about you, Lonnie?
What was the question again?
What is one of the hardest experiences or moments that you've experienced that perhaps have shaped your life to this day? Grief, loss, mental health?
Does it have to be one instance or?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I don't feel like I'm playing the same record over and over again, but to sum it up, I think to the extent is being the oldest of immigrants is, especially when let me reword this. Being the eldest, daughter especially, which there's a whole, like, lore to that. Being the eldest daughter of immigrant parents is a lot of a load to carry. I've, like many others, I'm sure, I grew up having to forget that I was a kid and that my focus, my main role was to essentially, take care of my parents, take care of my siblings, basically a third caregiver when my mom and dad weren't able to be that caregiver either for themselves or for one another. The mediator, if anything. From a young age, like others in the U.S., who have, Spanish-speaking family members or just non-English speaking family members, had to translate from a young age, trying to understand what a document said at the age of 8, and like, I don't know, and just be, being able to handle the criticism from your own parents, like, why don't you know this? Why are you going to school for?
¿Para qué vas a la escuela? Entonces, ¿para qué vas a la escuela? Right? Yeah.
It's like, I'm literally 8.
It's like,
but okay. But I didn't know that until I was older. Like, I was literally a child.
Yeah.
But I know they were just, I came to realize that not only was I, trying to figure out how to, like, exist in this world, I was also their guide into assimilating to, like, the U.S. culture. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just me figuring out who I was, but being able to guide my parents and family into the right, sphere of things, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. And with that came a lot of, challenges of their own. Just being able to be there for my family without having to feel like I'm going to go off so many times. It was really hard for me to choose things for me, just for me, without feeling the guilt of leaving my family behind.
That one,
yeah. I've always put their best interests first, especially with my dad. Another major reason I want to go to medicine is because of my dad. I've always been a father's girl. I didn't want to say daddy's girl, but father's girl. I was the one that followed my dad around, right? Okay. And I looked up to my dad a lot. And I look up to my mom a lot too today. She went through a lot of things. And it's just, it was very difficult trying to be, the best of the best while, trying to handle, like, essentially a broken family at the same time. You find out your family kind of like low-key the evil villains. I'm just like, what the crap? What the crap? But those things, and relating back to, like, medicine, as I touched base, like, my dad's health, my mom's health, I've always been the one to worry for them. And I didn't want my siblings to worry either. I didn't want them to feel, I didn't want them to feel worried. And I know carrying all that load did not do me well. Mm-hmm. And being the protector, I can't protect everyone and anyone from everything and anything. Yeah. And that's what, I guess, shaped me, or, like, was a challenge I had to get through as a kid mostly. Understanding, boundaries in my role, not just in my family, like, environment, but, like, in the world. And so it's just complicated being a kid, trying to tackle so many adult issues. But yeah, it's a lot.
I was gonna say, even at work, this one time when I mentioned it to Vance that I was gonna interview you, he was like, "Oh yeah, she's such a sweetheart," or there's other people that are like, "Oh, Emily's such a sweetheart," or you too. You're evil. Like, she even mentioned you're very approachable and you're very likable and cherished at work, and like people literally feel your presence or either one of your presence. And I feel like a lot of times people see us or see you guys as nice or as extravagant people, but they don't see the pain that it took to become as nice or as caring or as thoughtful. It's like sometimes people don't see the pain behind the smiles.
That was very MySpace of you. not trying to downplay what you said, but it's true.
Yeah.
As there's a reason why it's said and remembered a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why that hit me so hard. That's really sweet that you say that because, you know, I try to be positive in everything and anything you do because mindset's very important, and that's another thing that my mom taught me. And, you know, with all the darkness in the world, there's always has to be some sort of positivity. So it's really hard, guys. You know, I'm not always like this. Like, I have my bad days. I have my problems, but therapy has helped me with my grief and how to handle my emotions. So I'm really proud of myself for that, but I'm still a work in progress. That's for sure. So appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. We all try our best.
Literally.
And then this next topic, bring in the hot Cheetos. I think I already did that. Alrighty. Earlier this week.
Not that guy. Just vegetable.
Yeah.
Just gotta preface that you can't
Cheeto
see
girl.
it.
Earlier this week, there was jokes about what a hot Cheeto girl is.
Oh god.
Can you guys give me your personal definitions of what a hot Cheeto girl is? LOL. And what she is?
LOL.
Emily.
No. It's funny because I thought about this answer all week.
Oh.
And
I didn't even know this was a question.
I could give you the Google answer or not. So, obviously everyone knows there's a stereotype with the hot Cheeto girl, especially like in high school, like 2015, 2014, like
something like that.
it's the girl with the long acrylics, you know, with the Bath and Body Works spray, like spraying herself in the back of the class, not giving no F's, the thin eyebrows, loudest mouth, overlined lips, and hot Cheetos at 9 a.m. Everyone's had a hot Cheeto girl in
They're
their
kind
life.
of scary. I never associated myself with
But
them.
here's the thing. I really thought about this, guys. It's like, it's not just appearance, it's about how they present themselves. So yeah, back in the day, it was scary as hell to mess with a hot Cheeto girl. But now I kind of think about it, and again, it's all about perspective. It's like, it's a confident woman and knows what she wants.
Stop being loud.
Without caring
what other people think. Because I feel like society in itself, they judge us. They put labels. You know, like how we just said, oh, girl with acrylics, overlined lips, spraying herself.
Forgot the fake eyelashes.
Fake eyelashes and stuff. But it's really someone who just speaks their mind without giving a rat's ass about what everyone else is going to say about them.
Period.
Expressing themselves.
Right. But of course, there's that negative connotation because, oh, she's the loudmouth, and it's like, no, a hot Cheeto girl's a badass.
Right.
I would send them to fight my battles.
Literally.
Because they have
win.
That tenacity. They have that tenacity.
They have the audacity.
And tenacity. No, I think you have a very good point there, Emily, because our world tries to... There's a lot of norms that the few push on the many. And I say this as like leaders or people in power, people... that have made decisions that are in roles of that make big decisions. I feel like they try to push norms, and I feel like we uphold those norms against each other. And like you're saying, those labels, just because someone's being different or expressful, we're like ganging up on them. You know, we're giving them titles, we're giving them this, that, and I feel like that just hurts people because then it takes away from them being expressful. It takes away from, it makes people scared of being expressful. It makes people scared of being authentic.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Smack.
Yeah, you don't want to follow the crowd. Like I said way back in the beginning, it's like you want to be your own person and not give a rat's ass. And it's just like, when you think about it, hot Cheeto girls didn't do anything wrong. Some of them... But they were just
at 9 a.m.
Right. They were
God
just
forbid a girl wants to snack at 9 a.m.
Exactly.
Some spicy Cheetos.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. So, shit, maybe I am a hot Cheeto girl. So.
Right? Seriously.
I do have the acrylics, but
I got my natural.
What do you think, Laddie?
About what?
Hot Cheeto girl.
Hot Cheeto girls? Well, I don't think I was ever one or am ever gonna be one. Maybe at moderate levels.
Moderate levels.
But I think I was like, low key, I wish I was one of them. Like, not the Cheeto aspect. I don't mind the Cheeto aspect, but like, just having the confidence to be yourself in a world that literally judges the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I am kind of more of a hot Cheeto girl, attitude-wise, vibe-wise. Kind of need tough skin to be out here, and hot Cheeto girls were the initial girls to do it.
Yeah, I think you have a point. Yeah.
Be a hot Cheeto girl, guys.
So I gotta ask, why do you like? What about me? Screams hot Cheeto. Can you give an example?
I literally think it's the Cheetos because that's your go-to snack when I go to your apartment, and I'm like, girl, no, I'm okay. That's literally it for the most part.
Not me trying to set you up with someone that you don't have the balls to.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I did that shit out. Cut.
Yeah.
Chat. I don't know who she's talking about.
Okay. No, but okay, Felix, in your mind, what's a hot Cheeto guy?
They don't exist.
I'd say
Not real.
Let's see. I'd say a guy that cares about what brand he wears. A guy that cares about how they
The fade.
Yeah. Having like the best this or that because
fade.
it makes them feel like you said like it may be that they're insecure and it may be that these things help them feel secure or feel higher than the rest. I'd say that that just like and acting like they don't care. It's because
attacking the capybaras on my socks.
yeah, a hot Cheeto guy would be someone that doesn't acts like they don't care or that stuff is beneath them. Worrying about what they wear, their brands, how they come off as better than the rest. I'd say that. Yeah. What about you guys? What would in your imagination? What's a hot Cheeto guy?
Physically, you.
Oh. Damn. Cut, guys.
I'm just kidding to an extent.
Wait, no, but speak your mind.
Not a bad thing. Like how we just said being a hot Cheeto girl isn't a bad thing. But again, I am not a guy. I am but a girl. Your dog is coming after me.
For real.
What the crap? That's why I said the fade, because I saw your haircut. The fade. That's literally it for me, the fade. But I don't know. Just guys who like put in the effort to look good, I think, in my eyes.
They're like almost like a bitch. Right? Like
yeah. Listen, I don't know what they listen to, but for real, they sad boys.
Sad boys or Junior H. Wait, you know Junior H?
No.
You should put her on.
He has one song with Tito Lawepe.
I think you'll like Junior H a lot. So
I
put
don't
her
listen
on,
to him
bro.
a
Put
lot,
her
but
on.
he's alright.
Yeah, send me it.
Yeah.
We need a playlist going, guys.
On your way home, put Junior
There
H.
we go.
Junior H. I don't know. I just wanted to say you because I thought it'd be funny.
Yo, I don't have an answer to that.
With the gold chain and everything.
I literally had to chat GPT this.
Oh wait, what is
girl?
So, what is a hot Cheeto guy? There's no widely recognized hot Cheeto guy meme, but the term occasionally is used loosely to describe men who, like the trope for girls, loves spicy hot Cheetos,
Damn,
have bold, edgy personalities,
No.
show up in TikToks or videos eating them dramatically or humorously.
Is that you, dog?
Cut.
Cut.
We're clip chat.
It's basically someone who shares the same spicy snack obsession and a big personality. Which is kind of interesting because I feel like it was the opposite of what we described almost with you guys. Like, not necessarily being outspoken or cocky like how a hot Cheeto girl is, but more so like showing it through their fades, their gold chains, the logos that they wear and stuff like that in a different way.
The merch.
It's interesting.
Merch. I don't know. That'd be funny.
I like that.
But at the same time, it said the bold personality,
Yeah.
and it's like there's nothing wrong with people being like expressive or bold or authentic.
It makes you you.
Right. Exactly.
There's so many people in the world, right? And you want to be your own person. And not the dog.
Yeah.
And pave your own path. So
Dude, I almost grabbed your water. I was like, oh god.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
I would probably not notice.
Excuse me, guys.
Yo.
This is off topic, but
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
my sister is on her way from South Carolina. She's in the army.
Huh?
And she's gonna get here tomorrow morning. I'm so excited. I heard the door, and
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way she's here.
No way.
Bring her in.
Bring her in.
in.
No, yeah, I think she would love you guys, and you guys would love her. She's great.
Is this,
She was
is your sister older than you?
She's a year or two. She's 2 years old. So she was probably in high school with us.
Yeah.
Do you Janet Salvador?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Really?
I just didn't know she was your
My
sister.
sister. Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I can see it, I guess. I just didn't know. I've seen her in the halls of high school.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those people like, I know you, but we don't know each other, you know?
Okay.
But it's kind of weird. Anyway, that's kind of sad. Ignore that I said that.
Alrighty, next topic. Up next. What did that even make sense? Up
Yeah.
next topic. Up next.
Same shit. We know what you're
All right,
saying.
up next, relationships.
Oh, God.
What should happen during talking stages of a relationship, in your guys' opinion, and what actually happens during talking stages? Like, what should be shared and what is actually shared?
Well, this might be. I'm not the best person when it comes to relationships.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like if you're trying to be real, you should share. I'm not saying share everything, but in its own natural way, share what you want to share and make sure you get that correspondence back from the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want some one-sided stuff. That's when, disinterest evolves. So, I don't know if I really answered the question, but I feel like in the talking stage, you should say what you mean to say, what you need to say, like right off the bat, to know if you're a red flag or not. And your dog's going after the backpack.
Hey, shh. Being real.
Being real.
Right?
Be
like,
real.
that pretty much sums it up. Like, we will add.
We will add. You will say more.
But that really does come down to, being real about who you are, what you want, and what you want from them.
True.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're cooked.
Yeah.
In any of those categories.
Yeah. What
Yeah, but we're not saying like, oh yeah, I want 5 kids and a house like on the first
Like,
date.
be realistic.
Be real, like to
Don't
to
scare 'em
say
either.
that. Yeah, but like you want to make sure you align with what their
Compatible,
goals and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And especially in young adulthood relationships. I feel like in high school that's a different story. Like we're all just
I didn't
mess
date in high school,
around,
so I wouldn't know.
having fun. But I feel like I don't know what to say about that. But no, just be real and open and honest, and don't put up a fake persona for someone, because they're gonna love you for who you are or like you for who you are, and not like your fake personality. And it's exhausting being fake.
Exactly.
Like
it's a lot of effort.
Who
Like-
has the time?
yeah, who has the time
to be
do that?
literally someone you're not.
When a relationship is supposed to be like 2-sided, not just 1-sided, you know what I mean? So like they're gonna see the ugly, they're gonna see the good and stuff, and you have to show all of that, in my opinion, in a relationship. Not on the first date, obviously,
Be
but
ready
like
to be vulnerable.
yes,
Exactly. That's a big
And
part.
be
yourself.
ready to if someone's being vulnerable with you, to respect that.
Mhm.
Because I know that's not easy for a lot of people
Right.
nowadays, but just ready to be vulnerable, ready to be real.
I think I agree with that. I think that's where the bonding happens, where you let your guard down, you let your walls down, and they can receive it. They can receive who you are for who you are, and vice versa. You can receive them and be there for them with their guard down.
Just be ready to be loved and to give love. That's
Yes.
also another thing I highly recommend.
Yeah. And if you're not ready to give love, don't, because hurt people,
Yes.
and that's just the chain react. Like more, if you hurt more, and they're gonna hurt, and they're gonna hurt. And hopefully they get healed, or they heal over what they're suffering over. But hurt people do hurt people.
Yeah.
toxic
baggage.
cycle for sure.
Cycle, yeah.
Las tóxicas, bro.
Literally.
Especially, yeah.
Los
Yeah.
tóxicos también.
So yeah, like going off of that, some necessary questions are often not asked out of fear. Like sometimes when we're in the people are in the talking stage, they can like agree, or they can just nod their head. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But like deep down, they're like, wait, or should I ask? And then out of fear of losing that person, we keep quiet. And that's just delaying the explosion, man.
No, I actually know someone from back at home. They were, single, going on a lot of dates and stuff like that. And there was this one guy she hit it off with, like, they went on several dates, right? But it was like the cupcake or the honeymoon phase, right? But then at one of the dates, one of the guy, and this was like a few months in, right? So it wasn't like on their first date, but they're like, what do you think about, homosexuality and like trans children and things like that? And he was totally against it, which is fine, for him. Like, everyone's has the right to their own opinion, but she wasn't. So that was a huge clash. So I can't even imagine having that kind of hard conversation. Say they dated for 5 years and then having to leave and stuff. So it's really important to have those questions answered. Not first day, but like a few months in or something like that. It's really important because you can't hide the truth. You can't hide your morals and values and bend, because then you're straying away from your true self.
Exactly.
And the thing about relationships too, though, sometimes those red flags don't come out until a while. I'm gonna be vulnerable, whatever. So I had an ex-boyfriend. I was with him for 4 years. And I really thought he was the one. It matched up. He was, same kind of upbringing. We liked the same music. We went on all these trips. Yep, Polish. I don't want to call him out because I don't date a lot of those.
We don't know all you. Not everyone knows your dating history.
You're right. But point being is like his true colors really came out with how he handled my mom's sickness and how to basically handle my emotions and like, to be fair, like, wow, your dog's biting me.
Hey, Mishka,
Stop. She's like, pay attention to me.
For real.
No, but basically, like, obviously I give him some grace because he probably didn't know how to handle me at my worst, like how to handle someone whose their parent is literally dying of cancer, right? Like, that's kind of issues you kind of overcome or problems you face, like when you're in your 30s, 40s, when you're with someone for a long time. So on one hand, he did his best, but on the other hand, he said some really nasty things to me that I don't even want to get into. But basically, there was a bunch of red flags, and that was 4 years in. So his true colors really shown later on. And so I guess that's also to be cautious too, is like the experiences you share with your partner really shape and show their true colors. And unfortunately, mine was a little bit later on in the relationship, but I'm grateful that those colors showed, because I'm in a really happy relationship now with,
That's
and I wouldn't have been had I not, broke up with my ex.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
And that's tough because it's like situations like that or timings like that when they literally have the opportunity to support you or to step in, to step up, and be that support. And it's the hard times where we really need our partner the most.
Exactly.
It's like it's easy to have a good time with anyone. It really is. But it's like, who do we want to spend the hardships with?
Exactly.
The next thing that I had, some of the potential, traumas or damage that some of us may have come from like missing or absent parents. And we can like surface level this one or go deep, but like, what do you guys think about the importance of parents being present, not just physically but emotionally?
It's really important. I feel like European culture, we're very much so like standoffish and not like lovey-dovey or showing emotions, and that could really mess you up, because emotions exist and you need to be able to express them in a healthy way. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be happy and, stuff like that. So I think parents showing emotion and even being there to, be aside with their successes and failures is very important. I had a very good childhood. I can't doubt that. However, I felt like I was always, they knew I was going to do good, you know, so I never really got that validation of like, great job, keep going, you know, because they just knew I would do it. So that I actually struggle with a lot with like needing validation even now as a 27-year-old. Like, am I doing right or this and that, because I never really had that guidance or like that kind of support that way, you know, like had both mom and dad at the house and stuff like that, but I just never had the emotions there or like even those words of encouragement, which is really bled into my adulthood life. And it's very difficult to then undo that damage, you know. And that's why, like, again, therapy is really great, because, you know, you talk through these issues and kind of get to the root of it, of like, why do you feel that way and how are we going to get past that, and, you know, be emotionally healthy and not have as much self-doubt, because that'll screw you up in your personal life, your relationships, and even in your professional career. So that's my take on it.
No, yeah, and I agree, because, like, I mean, you're a nuclear pharmacist, and, you know, like, you're being open that you even struggle with, like, validation, even till now. And I agree, because, like, I do too. Like, my parents weren't really there, and it's like, I wasn't really involved in school with extracurricular activities. I really didn't do much. And now as an adult, I see myself, like, when I accomplish something or I'm working something, I'm, like, wanting to express it to them. But then even to this day, they're not very vocal or expressive, and it's just like, damn. It's like, it's almost like a little kid. Like, look at my drawing, Dad. And it's like, they're not even looking at it, you know? It's like, fuck. Yeah. It hurts. I'm not even gonna lie, because I struggle with that. Too. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's really hard, because then you start doubting yourself, and it's just like, well, is this even a big thing? It might be, you know, you did something great, but it's not reciprocated back to you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
from the people you most care about.
Exactly.
You know, and it would mean the most from those people.
And but think about it this way, Felix. They might express it in a different way.
Yeah.
Whether that's not through vocally, but maybe they bring you, you know, food, or like care for you in different ways. So just remember that. That's the one thing I learned from therapy, is like, they'll express it in a different way. Like, my biggest thing with my family is always food, or helping out with my fixed car on the side of the road. So just remember that there's different ways to show love and appreciation, and how proud they are of you. So don't forget that. And you are worth it. So mic drop.
Mic drop. What are we talking about? I'm just kidding.
Like, the importance of like potential traumas, like, because due to missing physically parents or emotionally absent parents.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have both parents physically. Emotionally, it was like the same with Emily. We are not, you know, I've mentioned that, you know, the Hispanic community is very, like, you know, amor, no son unida, blah, blah, blah. But with my family, like, at its core, we're not the ones to say, you know, love you, or, like, I care about you, I'm proud of you, like, to give hugs and kisses. I haven't done that since I was, like, a kid, you know? And I guess that really, like, that's something I really don't do either. And I find it kind of, even say thank you, it kind of, like, it gets lodged in my throat. Which I know, I don't know why. Maybe because as a kid, it just wasn't, you know, common. I don't know. It's just, I don't know what I'm saying that part. But as I grew older, you know, my parents were always there. They were at my, you know, performances as a kid. They were at my art show and whatnot. They always supported me, one or the other. But when it came to the emotional aspect, it was just really tough for me to see if they, like, actually cared, you know, what I did, or what would I do, or, you know, it was really hard. And it was frustrating, you know, because I'd see, like, family, other friends, how they show affection to, like, even today, having friends who are, like, have a very, you know, like, lovely relationship with their parents. Something that I wish I'd have, which, you know, comes from, you know, being envious of that, you know. But I came to realize, especially as you grow older, I feel like a lot in, like, Hispanic families, or maybe it's just immigrant families, you don't really get to know about your own family tree, like, later in life.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I've learned how my mom grew up and how my dad grew up, and I came to realize that they probably didn't receive the same kind of affection emotionally, maybe even physically, being having a present family member. And I learned to understand that and learned how to like see how they show love to me in different ways. And I've been more conscientious in how I show love to my parents. For example, my dad's very much one of those, like, I can do it, like, blah, blah, blah. And so when I need air in my tire, I can probably figure it out on my own. But I'm like, Dad, I don't tell him to put air in my tire, but I was like, I ocupo aire mi llanta. And he's like, ¿para qué ya yo le echo? And I know it brings him some kind of, like, something, you know?
Yes.
Or I order them food, you know, for everyone. And I know it brings something to them that I'm able to bring something to share with them. Like, they've never had Panda Express until I brought it home. And my mom and dad love it. Oh, that's cool. The orange chicken, especially. Oh, yeah. With my mom, she shows love to me. She does my laundry. I don't make her do it. She goes in my room. She's like, I need to finish off my load. So I just grab some of your clothes. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Especially now that she sees me, like, busting my ass off at work and I come home tired and whatnot. She sees that I'm, trying. She offers me food to eat when I can most definitely feed myself. I can cook myself an egg, as much as there's controversy out there. I can't feed myself apparently. But they've shown me love in different ways, and I show love to them. Like my mom, she's very much a thrifty girl, which is not popular. Going to Goodwill at the age of 10 was not really popular back in the day. But I take her out. Like, Mom will come with me to the store, and she's like, yeah. She makes it seem like, like, okay. Like, she makes it seem like she has nothing better to do. I know she does. But she joins me, and it's just being able to, I've tried to heal their inner children, inner child, and trying to see that they didn't come from happy families. Which is why I've always considered my family the people in my literal household and the relationships I build on my own with certain individuals. So, yeah.
Well, and I agree with that, too. It's like we're all living for the first time. We're all trying to figure it out, right? And I feel like we gotta learn to give other people's grace because we don't know about their past until right now or when we're older, because they didn't want that trauma to put on us. So I feel like it's very exciting to see where our generation's gonna go, because I feel like we all still have, especially us three in the room, are very proud of our roots, and we want to integrate that in the future, but also put a spin on it with talking about feelings, doing stuff like these podcasts of my dad would never do a freaking podcast, or my mom, well, maybe my mom, but point being is keeping true to our roots and maybe not passing down that trauma or the emotional absentness that we clearly all need, especially in dark times like this. So, agreed. Yeah.
And I agree with you too, because it's we see it, as a podcast, but what are we doing? We're talking, and it's what are we doing? We're seeking, we're sharing, we're being vulnerable, we're connecting exactly. Yeah. And learning from each other's experiences and how much stuff we have similar or differences. And I agree with you, Lonnie, because I've gotten close with a pastor recently at this church that I started going to, and I talked to him about the difficulties with my dad and the hard relationship that we had, and he's like, they may not be the same person they were before. And how they're probably beating themselves up for their shortcomings or what they did do or what they didn't do. And it's as long as they're trying to put in their effort to meet us, it's but then 50% of the relationship is us. So it's what are we doing to stitch that relationship back? What are we doing to heal it? And you're doing what you mentioned. You're on a roll. You're you have that understood. You're what can I do for them? How can I heal them? How can I help them? And I think that's something that a lot of us young people sometimes miss. It's easy to blame. It's easy just to point the finger and say I'm this way because of them, or I'm this way because I didn't have this. But it's it takes initiative, and it takes the want, the empathy and the want to meet them, you know, and it takes a lot of work
To make the first step.
Yeah.
You know.
And you don't want to have regrets. You know,
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing that I learned with my
Yeah.
grief is I'm very grateful to know that I don't have any regrets with my relationship with my mom of like, you know, arguing and bickering and stuff like that, resentment. It's not there. But I will say it's something that I do struggle with my dad, only because like I was always really close with my mom. So that's like my biggest advice to you guys and whoever's listening is it's not worth having resentment or like have beef with, you know, your family, because that's your only family, you know. So just be mindful of that and kind of learn that we're all human, we all make mistakes, and how do we remedy that. And to your point, Felix, it's like it's a 50-50 effort. It's not just them because they're the parent in the relationship. It's both. So
Yeah.
I like that you said that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. And you have to learn how to play to their emotions and feelings and how they feel appreciated with you. And maybe that isn't saying I love you. Maybe it is having your dad fill your tires for you and or bringing them Panda and things like that. So it's like the little things that really matter, and
Or
we
buying
always
them a
forget.
house.
Yeah.
Or buying a house. Yeah, do that.
Alrighty, to close off, I have last activity. It is answering questions in 1 minute.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and so I have these questions. They're called random rapid fire questions, and there's 30. I'll ask 15 to you, and I'll ask 15 to you. I'll give you a minute each, okay? So this won't be long. Are you guys open?
I'm scared, but let's do it.
Okay. They're just
screwed.
like general questions.
Oh.
Nothing major. Reset. All right. So who wants to go first?
Okay.
You? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna fuck this up real bad.
All right. 1, 2, and you can just describe it like in one word or
Okay.
just quick. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. What has been your favorite age so far?
I think now 25.
25.
A lot of things are changing for going uptrend for me.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Lazy dinner, Burger King.
Okay.
Whopper Wednesday.
What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Stay inside with the AC. I'm sorry, it's been tough out here recently.
How often do you floss?
What kind?
The dance all the time.
What is one of your nicknames?
Lonnie. Or Mo. I had a friend that called me Mo. M-O, Mo.
Is that from a Disney movie?
No, I don't think so.
Moana?
No.
What was your major in college?
Biochemistry, molecular biology with an art minor.
Okay. What is the stupidest dare you ever agreed to?
I'm not that stupid, so no.
What item is worth spending more money on?
What item is worth
Spending more
an
money.
item, a materialistic thing? I don't know.
Okay. Alright.
Bag of apples.
Oh man.
Okay.
These are random.
Yeah, they are.
I want to go again.
Yeah, now like primed, right?
Okay.
Oh jeez. Wait, are you Is she going
No,
again?
you
Oh,
go,
okay.
you go,
I'm
you go.
scared. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
Okay. If you could afford any car, which one would you drive?
A Lexus of some sort, but I'm going for a Camry.
Okay. Have you ever written a song for someone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Pop off, queen.
Here's the mic.
It's
No. It's finished. No.
What is the last craft you made?
A paint by numbers thing.
Diamond painting.
Diamond painting. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What is one thing you regret spending money on?
Where to start?
She's like, whoa.
Whoa.
I don't know. Probably like a pair of shoes that I didn't need.
Okay. What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
The SpongeBob movie.
Okay.
Movie on
If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
Like a white fluffy dog.
Okay. Have you ever gone viral online?
Yes.
Okay.
Huh?
What dish do you cook best?
Salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's great, guys. Oh man. Thank you guys so much. This has been a mix of
Crying.
No, goodness, wisdom, insight, a lot of reflection within ourselves. And I appreciate you guys coming on. Is there any last words that you guys would like to say before we close out today?
Viva Mexico,
Viva Mexico.
Facts. I would say, Felix, you're a great person. You have a lot of depth to you, and it's great what you're doing with this podcast of bringing people together, whether it's coworkers or just friends, and just sitting around and having fun, because we all need like some sort of positivity and fun in the world. And you know, I'm gonna put Lonnie on the spot because I'm a hot Cheeto girl. You know, this isn't. You know, she didn't really want to come. We didn't really want to do this, right? It's intimidating talking in front of Mike and with the fear of getting canceled. So, like, we appreciate you bringing us on here and just kind of speaking our story because, you know, there's more to us than our work and what you see at work. So we appreciate that.
No, yeah. And I understand it's intimidating. It really is. So that's why when I get no's, I don't take it personal. I've probably gotten more no's than yeses. And that's you know, I'm still trucking. But
Period.
What about you, Lani?
Well, I'm just gonna piggyback off Emily over here and say that I've had more fun than I thought I was gonna have, despite me literally crying. I really appreciate you being willing to do like just the voices versus being on camera, because that's a whole nother level of insecurity that I do not want to deal with right now. But yeah. I really appreciate what you do. It takes a lot of heart and time to do this, especially on top of like living life and doing priorities first. I think there's more to you that there is at the surface. I really appreciate you as an individual. It's really been fun at work, even with the dumb shit we say to one another. It's been real, and I really hope you're the best with this podcast. I hope you make it far and pursue the dreams you want to pursue and be the role model you want to be to everybody else, because it's worthwhile. So thank you for having me.
Dang, guys, I think I'm gonna cry.
No. I think we need to take a shot.